EGS Productions Podcast number 320 is here. I am Steve, your host. Along with me on this podcast, we have...
It's Chris.
It is Chris once again, joining on in from Boston. How's the weather over there? Bunch of rain? Bunch of shit going on?
It's fucking sunny today, dude. I shit you not. We went outside at work for my job, and the fucking sun was coming through the clouds. I went on break, the fucking sun was out. On a fucking Sunday, dude.
Yeah, we have a bunch of nice weather here the last couple days. You should be reaching that hopefully the next 2 to 3. So hopefully you're going to be able to enjoy it.
Oh, I've already looked at the weather. It's coming again. So we're going for 14 Saturdays in a row with rain.
Well, let's be a little bit more positive here. We are going to discuss the Xbox Game Showcase that happened and also the Summer Game Fest, which I was kind of disappointed with what I was watching, but it was okay. They were both great events. We will talk about that. We will transition on over to the community shoutouts. We have a couple comments to discuss and to give our answers on. A new segment this week in gaming history. We do have a press start topic that I want to discuss, and this will have to be going along the lines of a few different things, and we will ad lib and add in what else with whatever we want to. Give us a follow on YouTube and also on Facebook, EGS Productions or Everyday Gaming Society. And there on X, EGS Productions 1. Last I knew, Leo was going to be working on a TikTok. Hopefully he's not doing half-naked nudes of himself and posting that and just not telling me. So we don't need that kind of attention. Leo was not able to make it, nor was Ricky. So Chris and I are going to hold down to the fort for this podcast.
Woo!
That's right. Let's talk about Nintendo with a record launch. In just the first 4 days of coming out, 3.5 million units, becoming the fastest selling Nintendo console of all time.
And guess what?
You're not a part of that.
I don't have one.
We got the Switch one, or just the Switch.
Oh, it's actually right here on my desk. I got the OLED. I got that one. That same one that like Mike bought as well.
You have a Game Boy Color within 20 feet of the office. Do you have an old cinder block original Game Boy in a carrying case? That thing still powers up and probably puts out radiation, but nevertheless, it's a new Nintendo console that's out and it's selling great.
I'm about to give a shitty plug here, but I got an Amberneck fucking emulator that emulates all old classic games. It's got like 2,000 games on this fucking thing.
It is great that they do have those emulators. It's cool that you can get even that stuff through a web browser too if you want to play certain games. And
you want to know what the cool thing about it is? The model that I got is legitimately the very first Game Boy Color I got with like the clear purple. So that is nostalgic right there for it. And when I saw that thing, like, I know it's not part of it, but like I said, like you said, like, you know, Nintendo Switch, neither of us have it. But when I bought that thing and I finally got to hold it, I felt like a kid again.
Firing up that with the new Pokemon Color game, what was that? It was just red or blue, right? Because were those in color or was it yellow that was in color?
No, I think yellow was the first one that was in color. Because if you actually played the red and blue on the Nintendo, like the Game Boy Color. I know it's Nintendo, but nobody says no Nintendo Game Boy. When you played on the Game Boy Color, it had more like a reddish or bluish tint. It wasn't until they came out with Pokemon Yellow that everything changed.
And when everything changed, that for me was one of those groundbreaking things of holy crap. This is thing called a handheld. And then around that same time, I was very fortunate to have a Game Gear. And that was something that consumed 6 or 8 AA batteries and would maybe last a very short period of time. So it was, again, it was a handheld that for its time, it was great. It was groundbreaking. It was cool to see the graphics and take it portably to where you didn't have to sit down in front of a TV and have cords and be restricted on where you could and could not go within that room. Now people just strap shit to their heads. Hell, they have it in glasses format, right? To where they can just see certain things.
I think the Apple like Vision Pro, or I don't know. It's got some weird name like that. It's like the glass, Apple Glass, maybe. I think it was. I don't remember.
I know it was Google Glasses. That was a big one when that one came out. And it's just going to get better technology, this kind of technology over the course of the years. Speaking of handhelds, great segue. We are talking about now Xbox Ally. It was revealed at the Xbox Game Showcase, and it's going to be Xbox Game Pass and Cloud Play Focus. Late this year, it is supposed to be coming out.
I think I also read too that it might be working. They might Microsoft itself to get it to work on the new handheld. I think they said that they're also working with Steam to try to get like Steam on there as well.
I believe that if they were able to get Steam on there, that would be awesome to break into that market.
For real. I mean, the thing that I love about it, and like, it's something that's tempted me to actually save the money to buy it, like not right away, but probably like middle of next year. The thing that's like tempted for me is like you said, like you have in our little emails, is the Asus. It's Asus built with Republic of Gaming, and they were my laptop that I used for the longest time for gaming. And I love the Republic of Gaming like software. So that's something that's actually going to make me want to probably buy it a lot more than the Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch 2, I might add. Got to put that detail in there. Right.
Sorry, God. I still call a PlayStation 5 a PlayStation, and Xbox Series X, I call that a fucking Xbox. So fucking sue me. My DMs are open, Sony.
Yeah, let's not open up that litigation. They have a lot bigger team than what we do. Xbox Games Showcase. I watched it. I opened up Call of Duty, played a little bit of Black Ops 6, and then, of course, flooded with advertisement for Black Ops 7. So that is going to be set in 2035 with a co-op campaign. And the warfare theme is going to be quite standard. It's going to have a new zombie chapter that's going along with it. So I'm sure your pants are now wet thinking about that, Chris, although you just got out of the shower.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, because like one of the big things that I want to know is it going to be more of a full-on sequel, like where we see everything that happens after the Raul Madraza stuff, or is it going to be more of like a slight prequel, but more of like a different storyline type thing? You know, I guess like we could kind of compare it to a little bit of like the new Modern Warfare, like the 2019 Modern Warfare. Is it going to be something like that, or is it going to be like legitimately like a full-out sequel?
Is it too soon to have another Call of Duty game, in your opinion?
It's too soon to have another Black Ops game. That was the thing that I loved about the rotations, is that they went like, I wouldn't have another Black Ops game for like 3 years, and now I'm getting another one the following year. Bro, I love the Black Ops series, but I need more than a year.
I think we should have more than a year in between game franchises, let alone just a Call of Duty game to be released every single year. I think we should have a little bit more time, care, and effort put into it. However, I know they like to pump these things out more than a welfare chicken in a trailer park, right? Every fucking year a new one comes out. They're not the only game company developer that is doing it. There are others out there as well. Is it too much, or are you just trying to get every bit of money from your consumer by just charging them for a brand new game every single year, and then charging them from that Game Pass every single year, and then those microtransactions to get the cool stuff every single year? It's a lot of money. And it is a lot of money.
It's not even like fun anymore. When I remember like when Black Ops was like first coming out, they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, we're gonna kind of keep it to like that time era, and then all of a sudden like the new fucking skins that are coming out are like fucking futuristic shit and stuff like that. Like I saw they had a fucking, and I did buy it for a little bit, and now I haven't played it since then. But I bought a Jay and Silent Bob fucking pack. And I mean, I can understand like having that on that, because I mean, like they came out in like the mid 90s with fucking Clerks and all that. But you have a futuristic dragon looking fucking thing. And it's like, oh yeah, we're keeping to like the 90s. Bullshit.
I did see the Jay and Silent Bob, or just the Silent Bob one, actually, that you're talking about there in the store. I didn't look very much. The way that they have that advertised and marketed, man, it's pretty cool, right? It's a lot of cool skins, but it's not giving you any player upgrades. It's just cosmetics. And are you really paying that much attention besides getting killed by the guy in the Squid Games outfit 10 fucking times in a row?
Right.
You're not gonna, at least for me, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, that's so cool. I want to be that guy that enrages somebody else because I'm wearing this ridiculous outfit. Or hey, on Fortnite, I will admit there's stuff out there with the V-Bucks and the currency. They had a Doberman one come out, so hell, got Dobermans.
Jesus
that fits
Christ.
me exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy into it. So they're trying to do everything that they
I
can.
thought you said you weren't going to put any more money into Fortnite.
I still have, I want to say anywhere between 13 and 17,000 V-Bucks because I was on their monthly annual subscription pass. So I would accumulate these V-Bucks and I would go on there, do the quest, get more V-Bucks, still playing, not spending, nothing really piqued my interest and just kind of died off with the game. So I will probably purge it at one point just to buy a bunch of crap. Usually I still play it roughly once a year, and that's going to be around the Christmas time with a couple other people, and it's Christmas skins and it's Christmas themed, and that's probably where I'll dump some money into some themed crap with the game. I did uninstall it last night because I wanted to put on another game. So I feel kind of bad about that, but at some point it could just be going back on. So it's really no big deal, right?
Right.
Alrighty, moving on with that. That was a big adventure off the road there. Yeah, fuck you, Call of Duty.
Seriously, that's what happens every time we bring up Call of Duty. We go on like a half-hour rant about it.
The Outer Worlds 2 is going to be launching this year in October on the 29th.
Now, my big thing is I enjoyed the Outer Worlds game. I had fun playing it. But my big thing is I wish it was a little bit more co-op.
A little bit more what?
Co-op. Sorry.
Co-op. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, I wish, I didn't really see too much about it, but I would wish for it to be fucking co-op. I really would. Like, that would be a fucking fun and hilarious game to play with your buddies. You know what I mean?
I did not spend a lot of time in the first one. I did download it. Did not get very far with it. I think, yes, that would be a great game for co-op. And I think just games with the large role-playing advantage of getting in depth with the story, being able to do that and have your own fantasy, if you will, and even heck, I mean, you can stream that kind of stuff and make money to make your own little campaign within the game, you and your buddies. I've seen people do it there with Fallout. You watch people all the time there with Grand Theft Auto. You participate yourself with the role-playing servers in Grand Theft Auto. I think it would be cool. Grounded 2, sequel to the first one, is going to be releasing next month, July 29th.
So I never played
the first one.
I was just about to say that. Never played the first one. But I mean, I saw like a couple things about it. It might pique my interest a little bit. I mean, with it being game preview, I guess like it won't be bad now because I can play it on Game Pass. So it's not like if I don't like it, I'm gonna just fucking lose out money on it. I can see how it's gonna be beforehand, which is nice.
It is a great thing about having it there on the Game Pass. You can try before you buy because you're paying that monthly subscription, right? It just sucks when you're playing a game and you're into it, and then you get the notification, game's leaving soon. And
Let me guess.
One of them.
Let me guess. Because it happened to me one day when I went on to like kind of just like see what was on there. Payday 3.
What about it for me?
Yeah, for you, like that one that popped up.
I already had that uninstalled. I grinded on that game when it first came out, and I got my fix out of it. Now, am I going to want to have that fix again? If I do, I'm okay with using the AI companions and grind it back out on Payday 2. I dumped a lot of time into Payday 2, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Third one, yeah, it's It's fun. It has a lot more customizable options, and you can do a crap ton more with it. But I just don't. I don't foresee myself dumping a bunch of time with it. I'm more of a running and gunning kind of shooter person. To do the sit down, the strategy, and take an hour and a half to do a heist with you and a couple of your buddies, I don't mind it. But having the couple of the buddies to play Payday 3, that's the community that I don't have on my friends list. They are not playing community, or Jesus Christ. The community that I have is not playing Payday 3. There you go. Use your fucking words. All right. Gears of War Reloaded, the remastered edition in 4K, 60 frames per second in the campaign. And if you're playing on the multiplayer, 120 frames per second. Cross-play compatibility is going to be launching this year, August 26th.
So do you want to hear something fucking hilarious?
Is that I was about ready to download a Gears of War game just to play it about a week ago.
Oh, start playing it. Let me know, because I do have it downloaded too. But so I got a message from Xbox on June 11th, so 4 days ago. As a thank you for being a Gears fan, we're offering owners of Gears of War Ultimate Edition Digital a free code for Gears of War Reloaded, playable on the Series X and S and PC. Dude, I might be getting the game for free, fuckers, just because I'm a huge fan. And like, honestly, like, I love the Gears series. It's been amazing. The first time, like, here's the funny thing. The first time I played Gears, I asked my dad if I could play it, because I had an Xbox, but I didn't have the game. So he let me borrow it. The next day I went to work. I came home and my dad and ex-stepmother at the time had gone out and bought me everything Gears of War 2. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to enjoy this game. Because like my dad had played it before and he liked it. So when I got home and saw all that shit on my bed, I was like, I better fucking enjoy this game. And holy shit, did I enjoy the game. And I love it.
I enjoyed the main games. When it came to the side games that they would have for the certain players.
You're talking like tactical,
then judge. I don't want to call it Judgment or Judgment Day.
So Judgment was actually more of a prequel to everything. It was kind of like the Baird and Train adventures, like before like they would meet up with you in every single one of the games. It was kind of like one of those things.
Yeah, and I don't mind that. So for the Halo franchise, those are the games that I enjoy more than the actual games and the story and the campaign, which is kind of fucking stupid. But for the Gears franchise, it is the main games that I enjoy quite a bit. And getting to the part where Dom's brother, right? Yeah, Dom's brother.
Oh, you're talking? No, they're not brothers. They've been like teammates. So brothers in arms, I guess you could say.
Passes away at the end of one of the games.
I cried in that. I fucking cried.
You have a lot of investment into the entire franchise, and it's not like Call of Duty where you're playing this. You have another 9 to 11 months, and then another game's going to come out. Absolutely not. You're talking 5, 6, 7 years in between the main games, possibly. And yeah, you have a lot of time invested into it. I know people, yourself included, is probably in this. When it comes to Mass Effect, Mass Effect was one of those games, and it's cool with Mass Effect. It was tailored with what you did that will start to get into what happens the following game, and then they just finally killed everything with, it doesn't matter what you did, everybody gets the same ending, kind of.
Listen, we don't talk about the final ending.
Just getting you riled.
Listen, if shit breaks in your house tonight, it's Mike, because you've talked about the final ending.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for stuff to come flying off the office desk at me. Pick up this Detroit basketball lunchbox and beat me with it.
I mean, the one thing like that, when Gears of War first came out on the game in 2006, I was fucking 16 years old. The greatest thing about being a 16-year-old and playing that fucking game, actually it was 2008, so I was 18 years old when I first played my Gears of War full. But the greatest thing about seeing in that game was the fucking chainsaw gun. Prove me wrong. prove me wrong that is not the second greatest weapon of all time behind the BFG gun.
I would say the chainsaw gun for me, and just the lure, the memorabilia of that game as a whole, or I guess just the franchise as a whole. It comes with its own set of unique weapons, and that's probably what I appreciate most about those kind of games, more than just the Call of Duty games, for example, is that you do get the creativity of what the game developers in the studio and everybody, hey, this is what an assault rifle looks like in the year 3540, and it's very interesting how the things look. I believe it played out extremely well for everything that you would have to do in that game. Having your assault rifle with a bottom part that you could turn on and fire up and cut your enemies in half, and close quarter combat. And then you have shotguns that will just explode your enemies upon impact. You have the chance to super reload. So even through the course of the years with that franchise, it has evolved. And I really want to see, and I want a chance to play in the beta. I'm not going to go ahead and do any kind of pre-order, so I may not be able to jump on in it. But when it comes out, I will be playing it for sure.
I can tell you this much. One thing that I've noticed with like Gears of War, like you said, the super reload, I've seen that in a lot of games since then. And I don't know if it was something that was included beforehand, because like I didn't really play a lot of shooters beforehand. So I don't know if it's something that was included before Gears of War or after. And if it's after, then Gears of War definitely cemented on that one.
Yeah, I want to say that I played games before that would have the super reload option. But this would be, oh God, I don't even know if I want to talk about this. You know what? Fuck it. Back in 2000, it was early 2000s, JFK Reloaded. It was a simulation game where you can assassinate the president.
Jesus Christ.
But it obviously got major backlash. And it was made and done for educational purposes, but I want to say that was a game mechanic where it had the perk to where, yes, you could have that. And maybe even one of the earlier Call of Duty games, they probably even had that too, to be honest with you, because it's been out for God knows how long, right? I don't know. I would have to sit down and to do the research on it. Not worried about it. Let's keep on rolling on through here. Ninja Gaiden 4 is going to be returning October 21st, and it will be a Game Pass Day 1 release. Not including the update.
Sadly,
that might happen.
Never played any of the Ninja Gaidens.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle Order of Giants DLC is going to drop this year, September 4th, with all new crazy puzzles. And yeah, I'm not into that game. I'm not into a game to play those kind of puzzles to proceed on. I just want to suit up, put on my armor, reload constantly, or just even better, like the Doom game that I've been playing, just never having to reload unless you run out. It's just fantastic. Final Fantasy, moving on with that. So Final Fantasy, believe it or not, 16, right? That is the Rumoodumble for it. A surprise shadow drop for the Xbox Series X and S and the PC is actually that was talked about, and then same with the Final Fantasy 7 remake,
like for the 1500th fucking time.
Should be coming out to Xbox winter season of this year, 2025. Persona 4 Revival full remake is going to be coming out, and then Hollow Knight Silk Song has been confirmed of this year. It will be launching with the Xbox Ally, and if you remember from a conversation a couple minutes ago, that is the Xbox new handheld. A couple new titles and things that came out during the Xbox Games Showcase for this year was Clockwork Revolution, Keeper, Beast of Reincarnation, Super Meat Boy 3D, High on Life 2, Resonance, A Plague, Tale of Legacy, The Blood of Dawnwalker, Chronos, The New Dawn, Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf. I love being dyslexic because I just read Children of the Deaf, which would be a fantastic game to go ahead and pick up on. And then Invisible VS.
So I have three things to say about three of those games. The first one, Clockwork Revolution, where it says a steampunk RPG with time manipulation and deep narrative choices. Do we think Malcolm McDowell is gonna be in it? Or yeah, right? Was he the one in Clockwork Orange? Or am I thinking? Yeah, Malcolm McDowell. Will he be in it?
Sure. I've never really got into the game or that part of the universe.
Wait, you never watched Clockwork Orange?
No, not my thing.
Poor thing. Definitely cannot wait for High on Life 2. I think it might still be on Game Pass. If you had the fucking chance to play it, fucking play it. You are going to love it. I saw it on Game Pass one day. I decided to download it, gave it a shot, and I put a week worth of my life into that game because of how fucking phenomenal it was. It's done by the guy who works on like Rick and Morty and stuff like that, and he does some of the voices in there, and it's just hilarious. The Blood of Dawnwalker, the vampire-themed action RPG. Yes. I want something other than zombies, and I either want like a vampire or a werewolf style game where it's also a roleplay game. And I'm hoping that this does fucking well, because I would fucking play it. And I want to play it because I want something other than a zombies like fantasy style game, and I think that would be a great game.
For Meat Boy 3D, I believe is going to be a game that I'll probably just download for the simple fact of streaming it, and and that's also a bad thing because that can totally work against me to show how frustrating a very simple game can be. But I don't mind that kind of game just to be something to pick up and grind out, and it's a cool competitive game to find out. And you're with the same people in the same room, just to pass around the controller and see who can pass out and just get that level done. And it's fun to do it. You don't get a lot of those opportunities anymore to be in the same room with people. But off of that list that I was reading off for the new titles and surprises, no, I'm not terribly looking forward to anything. For this year, though, yeah, the Gears of War Reloaded, I do want to pick that up, and more likely I probably will. I'll probably do some achievement guides and some streams with that, and yeah, it's going to be really fun to play it. There was something else too, Gears of War related. Phil Spencer, he did tease for the year of 2026, Fable, Forza, Gears of War E-Day, and in his words, the return of a classic that's been with us since the beginning. And that's all he's going to leave until next year. So we're going to be getting another Gears of War game. Obviously, this is just going to be a remaster, right? So we will get a brand new one next year, or maybe at least
I don't
be told about it.
I don't think it's going to be Gears.
You think another side story game?
No, I'm thinking something else, and I'm surprised you haven't picked up on what I'm thinking. Are
you talking
What's your favorite fucking game on Xbox? What is something that you have dressed up as the character?
Oh, I don't know if I could publicly discuss that. I mean, that's rather personal on what I do on my weekend.
What TV show are you trying to watch but you have yet to finish?
Oh, you're talking about Halo. I thought you were talking about me being a drag queen on the weekends or being the bearded lady when I'm in the circus. Yes. Are you talking like the real-time shooter or real-time strategy game? I'm trying to think of the acronym that they call that kind of game. The bird's eye view. Strategy. Okay, so real-time strategy. Is that what you're thinking for that being E-Day?
No, I'm thinking like the return of a classic game that has been with us since the beginning.
Oh, so that's what you're talking about for Halo. Well,
and I've heard speculation that maybe it's not going to be, maybe it is still going to be like 343, but with a side company in it. And remember, they own Bethesda now. And Bethesda's like been one of the top big companies. So maybe like the sub company that did did Doom and everything is going to do Halo or work with Halo.
Very well, possibly could. I would like to see something come out and have it be an actual full-on Halo release. And I would be curious on what it is that they're going to show. And if they're going to show something of Halo next year, well, I can't see something coming out till 2027. Maybe push it back to 2028. The fans will still stick around regardless. Let's go ahead and get through the rest of this. Windows 11 update is going to be having for the deeper Xbox Cloud gaming integration for the seamless console to PC transitions, which is something that I could have probably used about a year and a half ago. So thank you for Xbox and Windows for finally pushing that on through. And that is going to be it for all the games that was discussed at the Xbox Games Showcase. Now let's move on over into the Summer Game Fest that happened. Big AAA titles that were released. New Resident Evil game. Have you a chance to look at the trailer at all, by chance?
I think I quickly saw something about it, but I haven't really seen the trailer.
Looking forward to that. That's not coming out until next year, February 27th. So at least it's at the early part of the year. 007 First Light. We finally got a chance to see a little bit more on this. Exactly what we were talking about. It's going to be a James Bond game. Through and through, the first one that we had in over a decade, so hopefully it's going to live up to the expectations. Stranger,
let's hope.
Yeah, God, let's hope. Stranger Than Heaven, that is a game that is set in the 1940s by the same people that brought you Like a Dragon. Death Stranding 2 On the Beach. Kojima Productions previewed this sequel with a new clip and a world tour announcement. I don't quite know on how I feel about it. It's nice that we are getting a new one.
I still gotta finish the other one.
I believe it's just going to be very hard to top the other one. I also said the same thing about The Last of Us
Part 2. What was it that you called it? Like a delivery simulator or like a postman simulator?
Yeah, it's just another fucking game of grinding, and I was over it, and there was a lot of hype around it, and I was, I guess, a little disappointed about it. So maybe by the second one, on the beach, maybe I will feel like I'm on the beach playing and I wasn't in a fucking Amazon desert dying very slowly. Scott Pilgrim EX. It's going to be coming out next year. Mina, the Hollower, is going to be coming out this year on the 31st, and Deadpool VR featuring the Neil Patrick Harris version of Deadpool is going to be coming out. No year or month attached to that. Other sequels and franchises that have been talked about: Code Rain 2, Atomic Heart 2. I know Leo was just playing the first.
Vein, not rain.
Again, being dyslexic. At least I didn't see Def in that one. Code Def 2. Atomic Heart 2. Leo was just playing the first Atomic Heart, and it sounds like he was not enjoying it. So I'll be curious if he's going to want to pick up on the second one. Mortal Shell 2, Dying Light, The Beast, which is the DLC. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, Hitman. Oh God, you want to try that one?
Hitman. No, it's Hold on.
There's a new Hitman game coming out.
It's Le Chief, something like that.
Laqueef.
No, Le Chief. It's like the characters from Daniel Craig's James Bond's very first movie outing, which was Casino Royale. And the fact that they actually got Mads Mikkelsen to reprise the role is actually phenomenal.
All right, so I'm looking forward to Hitman Laqueef coming out here.
Jesus Christ.
Xbox. There's a couple indie games that did come out. Mouse PI for Hire, Chronicles Medieval, End of Abyss. Other RPGs: Felt That Boxing, Out of Worlds, Infinite Smiles. Oh Lord. Wu-Tang, Rise of Deceiver, Marvel, Cosmic Invasion.
So looking at that, you have House PI for Hire, a noir-style adventure starring Troy Baker's voice. And then you got Chronicles Medieval, a sandbox medieval game narrated by Tom Hardy.
That was probably recorded on their sofas.
Exactly. Like, how are these companies coming up with money? Like, these small companies coming up for money with, like, for Troy Baker and Tom Hardy. Yeah, we can't get voices like that anymore in, like, fucking Call of Duty or something. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. That would be a great deep dive to find out how much they were paid, if there is something else that they got for reimbursement, if they were just doing this, very doubtful, but doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. I would love to read or hear that kind of story, especially for the big name listed actors, especially doing something for an indie game developer. But now those game developers, are they owned by one of the larger game franchises? Although that they are indie, they do get picked up and get funding from the big boys to get those kind of big names. That's the question that you have to go ahead and ask and deep dive down into. But the 8 big ones that we're going to go ahead and talk about is the Sonic Racing, September 25th of this year, Dying Light, The Beast, August 22nd of this year, and Resident Evil, like I was saying, February 27th of next year. That is all that I have listed for those 2 events. I was disappointed. Watched and listened to both of them.
I didn't watch any of them.
I watched and listened to them, and you can tell a lot of the Summer Game Fest is, in my opinion, slowly becoming E3. There's a lot of game trailers. There's a lot of advertisements. There's not a whole lot of actual gameplay. And if you are being shown something, it is not the actual gameplay footage. I want to see something that's of the actual gameplay. I want to see of something on what it looks like, and then play the final finished product and see that development, possibly playing a beta version or an alpha version of the game to test it and to feel the difference between the two. I find that always fantastic, and just, it's a great experience being able to experience that yourself, being able to see it play out too, and to find out. Usually companies, they have vlogs. I like seeing that kind of stuff too, because you can really start to see the in-depth inner workings behind the scenes and what it takes to release the smallest indie game. It's quite amazing. And the type of funding and everything, oh my lord. I can only imagine what it would be costing just for that indie game developer to have Tom Hardy to come on in and say a couple lines. And it could be just a really bomb shit game, right?
I mean, I believe I did see the trailer for it, and if I'm remembering it correctly, it did fucking look interesting. I'd have to double check like my fucking like TikTok shit, but I'm pretty sure I sent it to a friend too. But like I said, I'd have to go all the way back, like I don't even know when fucking Shadowfest or whatever the fuck it was. I don't even know when that was, so I don't know what time frame I'm actually looking for. But like I said, I think I saw it and I sent it to a friend and I said, "This looks interesting."
The voice actor strike is close to nearing a resolution, battling against the artificial intelligence that is taking their jobs. Still haven't heard anything on the finalization of that. So probably next time that we come out with the podcast, or it could be not until next month that we finally hear something of it. They were talking about how much is going to hurt the industry not having Grand Theft Auto come out this year and being delayed another year. You're talking,
how in the fuck is it going to hurt the industry?
You and I were just playing Grand Theft Auto, and we can get more into the games that we're playing a little bit later on. But we were just playing it, and the updates and the free stuff that they were giving us, from what it felt like, they're still updating the game. People are still having fun with their game. They're obviously still making money on the game. So I have the same question that you do. How are they honestly losing money? Or how is the industry as a whole losing money? Are you betting? Are you putting all your eggs into the Rockstar basket? Getting into the feature discussion, gaming subscription fatigue. I did a breakdown and I wanted to talk about on how much it is. Chris, you did not get the specifics on that, but I do have a breakdown on what every subscription cost could be, and that is a low end to a high end for each model. And you could be talking, depending on what it is that you want to get into, not including having to have internet to have the subscriptions to make these fucking things work, right? On the low end, about $100. On the high end, you could be talking $500+. What is your feeling on the subscription fatigue? And this is not on just the subscription fatigue on Disney Plus, or when you're getting to video game side like Ubisoft Plus or EA Plus. Also think of subscriptions as battle passes. Think of it as something that you have to pay every month or put into just to get that reward. What are your feelings on it? Are you exhausted by seeing this stuff constantly being bashed into your brain every time you load in a single game?
My big thing is the fucking Ubisoft Plus. Okay, why the fuck do I have to pay for a subscription on top of a subscription? Okay, I'm paying $135, I believe. I don't fucking remember. Maybe $153. I don't fucking know. For PlayStation Plus, I'm paying like $15-20 a month or 2 months, whatever, for fucking Game Pass, like Xbox, like Gold, like whatever.
The ultimate.
Yeah. Why the fuck do I need to pay an extra for Ubisoft? Do what fucking Microsoft did and just fucking or EA did and just integrate it into Microsoft. Like, fuck off.
Are you a YouTube Plus premium subscriber?
Yes, sadly.
All right. So you got Paramount Plus too, right?
Yes.
Do you have HBO or Max?
Nope. Well, I have it. I have it, okay? But
we won't discuss those details.
It's through the primary account holder's account on Verizon.
Okay, we'll go with that. But
that's actually how it is.
It adds up, and it's quite insane on how much money you bring in for your paychecks as an individual or as a family, whatever it is, versus how much has to go out just for you to enjoy, to have that ability to play the game or to get that 10% discount or whatever it is. It's fucking absurd. So there was something that came out in this article, and it is saying that about half of gamers have subscribed to at least one service. The revenue is projected to hit $11 billion, and that revenue is all subscription-based models, not on the individual game side. So in this example, we're going to talk about game passes. That does not equate to that $11 billion. That is just these individual companies that have their each individual subscription services just to get that extra oomph out of the company. 38% in that same report felt overwhelmed by having these multiple services, citing the cost and trackability complexity. And they're tired of having it. I'm tired of having it. I don't think we can get away from it, though. Not in this day and age with how much money a company, and going back to those indie game developers, they could have their own little subscription-based model. And maybe for something like that, for a smaller cap company, that could be acceptable because you are going to be funding them to make them better, whatever it might be, instead of a larger based company that already has millions or billions of dollars in free fund money. Just go ahead and throw it at a project, but they're just not. I can't wait to go ahead and get over it, to get done with it, but I can't foresee us going away from it at all. So let's go ahead and move on into the next portion of the podcast, and that is going to be on the listener shoutouts or the community shoutouts. So every time that you guys comment on one of our videos or send a direct message, whatever it might be, then we will go ahead and respond on the podcast here. So very first one just came out a couple days ago. This is from Q4ZR. Hello guys, I have a problem. I bought all the maps for chest and I opened all the chests that's shown in the map, but it says I collect 98%. Please help me. I'm trying to get 100%. and this is on Assassin's Creed 3 Frontier Treasure Chest. So when it comes to that and these kind of requests, yes, these are older games that I haven't played in quite a long time, but I do have the ability to go back and watch the videos and remember certain things. And still, and not this case, but the next case for the next game, I was able to re-download it and then retry it out. So when it comes to this, try to look around, and I can provide a list to this person somehow, because I just don't really want to rattle everything off. Sometimes there are map glitches or sync delays that will happen with this game. If you want to exit a certain section of the frontier and re-enter, try to reload your save. Hopefully your chest will be registered. Make sure you go into all the British camps, the enemy camps, the cliffside or the treetops. Those are really hard to get. They are honestly easily missed though. Cave entrances could have a couple of them. And then of course all the hidden forts as well. The forts that you'll have, they will have something that you do need to get. Keep out your DNA tracker just to make sure that you have everything complete in that certain section before moving on. And I would hate to say this, but having to restart the game. And I hate to say that because putting that amount of effort, and I remember putting the amount of effort to make those videos and to get the chest, it is a lot of fucking hours. So I don't blame the person if they're not wanting to go ahead and to redo that, but that is what I have for you for my bit of advice on that game. Lucas K047, Ben 10 Omniverse Collectible Guide said, "Thanks, you are welcome." Jab Only 009 said, "Amazing to the Doom 2 A Man and a Half Achievement Guide." And the very last one, MS Bomberman 94. What is the left trigger button for the Neo Geo? Does it apply to one system, one console, or go on with that? What the hell is a Neo Geo? So the thing that I could be thinking about is the old playing on the Genesis. So what would that be for you? If that is going to be the case, then it's going to be left, B, C, and start. Because on Xbox, when we're playing on that or the PC, you'd have the ability to go ahead and use the trigger buttons. Same with on the Switch, you can use a trigger button, but when you're playing on the older version, you're not able to. So try the left, B, C, start, and that should hopefully work. Make sure you are highlighting the options menu when you're on that. Let me know there in the comments. Hopefully it does work. If anybody else wants to go ahead and comment as well, we will read it off here. And that includes hate mail as well. So, yeah, we have thick skin. Go ahead and give it to us how it is. I'll cry about it live and, we'll get over it together.
Fucking send it.
Yeah, that's right. We will just send it. Before we jump into this week in gaming history, what have you been playing on the Xbox, the Switch, the PlayStation, the mobile device, anything?
So
not playing with yourself.
I mean,
we could talk about that later. That's a different podcast.
Love how quickly you stopped me. Tried to stop me. So I think I sent it to you and Leo in a text the day after or the day of that we did the last podcast last weekend. Was it last weekend? Maybe the weekend before. I don't fucking remember.
It was 2 weeks ago that we did the last podcast.
So I ended up downloading the fucking Game of Thrones MMO RPG on the PC. It's called King's Road. Yeah, it's called King's Road, and I played a couple hours of it, and I quite enjoy it. The thing that I liked about it is you meet up with some of the main characters from the actual show itself. You meet up with Jon Snow. So far, I've met up with, like I said, Jon Snow, Samwise, or not Samwise. That's fucking Lord of the Rings. Sam. I know his name is Sam. But I met up with him, and it takes place not long after the Red Wedding. And you basically play as the bastard child of one of the lords in the north. And basically you are the last surviving child of the lord's kinship. So everything now falls on you. And it's so far so good. I haven't played it lately because of a few life things, but I do want to probably play it again later tonight or tomorrow on my day off. But I've had fun with it.
Anything else?
I mean, we did play I almost said Game of Thrones again. We did play Grand Theft Auto last night.
That's right, we did. We did that in a tribute to Mike. Rest in peace. But I believe overall it was a fun experience. It was nice getting back into the game. Kind of sad in a way, just reliving the memories. And I haven't gone back to, and I thought about it last night, but I decided to pass out when watching a documentary instead. But going back to the Truffle Biker Club and just, kind of sit there and get hammered, hanging out with Marge and blast the Radio Gaga on the radio.
Right.
But yeah, it was a great time. It's a great game. Looking forward to GTA 6. Again, rest in peace, Mike. For games that I had been playing, Call of Duty, I have already talked about that. Did play Nuketown, and I do like on Nuketown now, they have the extended game mode, so it's not the extremely short version of Nuketown. It seems sometimes a bit too long if you're playing against a team that is extremely good. Not saying that it's not worthy of your time, but if you're going to spend, we'll say, an hour, and if you're looking to get a couple matches in within that hour, that is not going to be your game mode. Maybe be 2, maybe 3 matches because they are that long. So for grinding stuff out, for getting weapons, and they now have it 10v10, so there's some more people in the map as well. It could be a bit much, but if you're like me that just likes to cook a grenade and toss over that fucking roof, yeah, you can easily get your lethal equipment weapon challenges knocked out of the way. Doom the Dark Ages, I did play that all the way through, and I did beat it. I did that within 2 streams, though one stream was, my god, it was about 7 hours long. So I had sweat in odd places, and I was not smelling good after that stream. But the second half of the stream of Doom, I am going to have to redo it. The audio did flake out when I went from my starting transition to my live transition. So I did transition. Yes, it's 2025. Get over it. And so when I did that transition, it dipped out on my game audio. So it was just me. You can see me playing. You could not hear any game audio, and you could just hear me breathing. You can hear me talking, swallowing. Mike was picking up everything. So I'm probably going to go back and restream that. But the next thing on the docket for me is start busting out those achievement guides for that game. When it comes to the achievement guides, I don't know what I want to do for the collectibles. It looks like you can have anywhere, depending on individual collectibles on what you want to get, anywhere from 5 to, 50, if not more, per level. And it depends on the level or the section or the area on how the game is broken up. That's going to be also interesting as well. So I'm going to have to play it, and as new parts unlock, do it in a way and set that structure up so then when you're playing the game, whenever you're going to see that new area, those new collectibles come up, that's when you're going to have to grab them. So I did play this on a different profile. So now everything that I'm playing on with my profile, it should be popping up and tracking everything from what I previously picked up. It will not be there. So that account is kind of fucked over when it comes to the collecting of the collectibles, but I have a great sketch out of the areas and of all the collectibles, so that is gonna be a large consumption of my downtime. Halo Infinite did play the Legacy Operation, did not get extremely far with the levels there. I am enjoying it, so if you want to play that, I am typically streaming that or any other game on every Tuesday on Twitch and Kick. You can go ahead and follow me. jump here on Discord. You'll get the notifications as well. And that does start at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If I do get on, I can try to get on as early as 10 or 10:30. So I try to get on as early as I can. And I try to also knock out a stream on the weekends as well. And I do have it be a longer stream. And that can be more community-based, so I can play with people as well. Only other game that I touched was a little bit more of Stalker 2. And I have not touched any more hours into that game. I've dumped in already a lot of hours into that game. I still enjoy the game, but I'm kind of at that null of, all right, well, Doom came out. I'm enjoying Doom more than Stalker. Stalker is one of those games where I'm going to play it. It could be for a couple hours, but there's just, it's kind of boring. So I will throw in a earbud and I'll listen to music. I'll listen to something just to grind out that 6+ hour stream. I'm playing that game, but then you also lose the ability, because it is that kind of game. It plays those sounds and everything very, very well. So it's good to have both ears open with your surround sound on, just to hear that fucking predator, that bloodsucker that is creeping up behind you in active camo mode where you can't fucking see him and just comes out of nowhere. Or, yeah, those emissions that come out of nowhere. You just have to book it to a building. It's fucking annoying. So I haven't really touched the game much. Have not played anything on the mobile device, so there's nothing to talk about there. This week in gaming history, dating all the way back to 1989, Tetris launched on Game Boy in Japan. 1994, the Game Boy version of Donkey Kong was released in Japan. Arabian Nights in 1996 on the Super Nintendo in Japan. 2002, Downforce, the PS2, and Magic the Gathering Online. I remember that release, and it was a big release. That was out on the PC. 2005, Batman Begin launches across GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. That Batman franchise, that series, whatever you want to call that was a very good series and franchise still to this day, in my opinion. Great storytelling. And I think that the graphics for the time too, they held up very, very well.
So do you want to also know what released actually on today, 30 years ago in 1995?
June 15th in 1995. What was that?
Mighty Morphin's Power Rangers, the movie on the Genesis.
Damn. On the Genesis. See, that was back when I don't want to say game movies, but video games that were tailored right from the movies were fucking horrible. But it also has something cool about them. We didn't really have a lot of adaptation from movies to games because of how new everything was, right? Because the console that you mentioned off, it's not modern day like how it is now. I think that was cool for me as a gamer, being able to watch something and then play something and make those indifferences and to find out what I enjoyed more. I've always enjoyed the video game aspect more than what it was on a movie or a TV screen. But that's very cool, though.
And also 7 years ago today, Among Us released.
Oh, Lord. I remember that game, and that was an odd craze about Among Us. So let's go ahead and spiral down that rabbit hole real quick. I was at an event with my family, extended family too, and they were talking about sus. I'm like, what the fuck you mean sus? Oh, that's real sus of you. I'm like, okay, whatever. Not thinking anything much of it, right? Well, then come to find out that this game Among Us, that's what everything was when you were the sus or the suspect, because we can't just say the full word now. We had to shorten everything down.
Well, you had to type and fucking in. You only depending on who set up the game,
right?
You sometimes had 60 seconds to figure everything out.
And it's cool about that game. It sparked like wildfire. Here, it went from the office, spread throughout the entire house on multiple devices. Money was spent on that game, and it for being a smaller indie game too. It hit very hard and very well, kind of like Fall Guys. Mm-hmm. I think it was called Fall Guys when that came out. And still, it's a fun game that you can pick up and play. But that was my experience with it. Hearing about sus before hearing about the actual game, and then the most annoying part about the game is gaming in the same room with somebody, and then they know, and then they rat you out. That's annoying.
So we used to play, my buddies and I, we used to play over the headset on the Xbox, and we would play on mobile device, and we would not kill each other. If one of us was it, or like the fucking imposter, we wouldn't kill each other at all.
Back in 2011, Child of Eden released on the Xbox 360. 2013, The Last of Us launched on the PS3. 2015, Earthbound Beginnings on the NES. Fallout Shelter arrived on the iOS. Yes, Fallout Shelter is a weakness. I will probably pick up that game a few times throughout the course of the year. Not much for impregnating or killing on the fly. I am just one to grind and to, like how you were doing, right? Doing those dailies. Switching the people out, making sure that they have everything to get them going. You have enough med packs, enough stim packs. It's fucking wild on how much time you can dump into something like that. But hey, that addiction started 10 years ago. Still holding strong with it, I guess. It hasn't defeated me yet. 2016, Dead by Daylight release on the PC. Rolling through the bonus segment, this is going to be going on with a few things that we have talked about in the past and maybe one or two new things that we are going to bring up. These are going to be quick topics. This is why we're going to call it the press start topic, because as soon as we're going to talk about that first line, that's when you press start, and that's where the ranting could begin. So here we go for the first one.
End.
I know, and that's why I wanted to put this with the podcast structure a little bit towards the end for me as the editor. So when it comes to example, last time when we all had a podcast, it was about 3 hours long. Add about double that for the editing, and that is just the audio section itself. That does not include any kind of video, putting it into rendering format for a video for YouTube, changing it for Spotify, just changing out different things. So you could be a 3-hour podcast is going to take me 6 to 12 hours to go ahead and get done. So I want to put this towards the tail end of the podcast, because that way we're not going to talk about, yes, we're all opinionated, right? We all like to have our own opinions about certain things. When it comes to this kind of stuff, it's not going to hopefully show up in the middle of the podcast where we're going to learn that people that listen to us, they don't like to hear
in the
about
room
it.
with you.
No, one of the dogs is outside the office, wants to come in because the dog hears me talking and wants to hang out. And I told the dog that this is Daddy's time. This is Father's Day. I'm going to go to the office. I'm going to shut the door, and I'm going to do a little podcast. So deal with it.
You had me thinking it was the Roddy downstairs for a moment.
No, I'm sure your little girl is doing fine. The big boy and the two girls are wanting my attention, and as soon as I'm done with this, I do have a couple steaks to go ahead and marinate and then toss onto the grill later with a little bit of yard work and tool organization.
I'll be on my way.
Yep, be on your way. I will fire up the grill when you get here, and as you know from experience,
in the morning.
as you know from experience, it doesn't matter if there's snow on the ground. Pull the grill into the garage and we'll fire it up. We'll grill in the garage, middle of winter. Done it plenty of times. Not supposed to do it.
No wonder why we're so fucked up.
Right. I tell everybody out there, don't do that. It's probably against the law, against a couple different things, but it was well ventilated. Everything was fine. There was plenty of safety precautions taking place, so no worries there. The biggest concern is that we wanted to get our food, and we got our food, so everything was good. So now going back to the press start topic, the very first one, physical game copies versus the day one patches and online checks. So you having a physical copy of a game to having to still do the day one update. Thoughts?
It's a dying breed. I know you still use like GameFly and stuff like that, but I highly doubt it's gonna last much longer. I mean, it's not even just digital copies of games. It's music, movies. The last time I bought a full physical copy of anything was a book that I bought, and it was a book by Jeremy Renner, which I have yet to finish. But other than that, like, everything physical is just dying out. It's all either on our phones, TVs, consoles. I prefer having digital copies because then I don't have to I know when the one, I think it was, came out, we had to sometimes download the game onto the console for us to be able to play it when that first started. And I wasn't going to sit and wait after getting off of work, buying the game, sitting and waiting an hour and a half, maybe an hour for the game to download, when I can now just pre-order it on the console, shut the console off, and play it when I get home from work the next day.
I do like that ability. I don't like having a console with the biggest storage that I can without buying anything external and only being able to download an X amount of games, because every game that comes out is 100 plus gigs, not including patches and updates that come out day one, first week, first month of one game. That's what I don't like. I still like having the physical copy. I think it's just cool, a little bit of nostalgia in there. But the digital download preference, 69% of gamers prefer digital over physical copies. So that means that obviously physical copies are declining. And Q1, GameStop, it did come out, and yeah, it did not look good at all. And they are wanting to cater their stores to a little bit more of a demographic. So they're now wanting to sell cards, trading cards, Magic the Gathering cards, Pokemon cards, that kind of stuff, to expand to more of a market. Subscription fatigue for the publishers pushing this kind of stuff out. We have already talked about this, so we shouldn't have to beat this dead horse any more of a puddle of blood than what it is. But it is going to project to have $11 billion in revenue this year. 38% are feeling overwhelmed for having to pay more for an all-in-one service or to have individual platforms. What would you prefer? One large bill or multiple small bills?
One large bill.
VR, is it going to remain a killer of certain apps? Is it going to break through? What's going to happen with it? We have been talking about and dealing with VR now for a couple of years. We have discussed this on the podcast multiple times. We are seeing the affordability and the usability being a lot high up on the usability, and it's down low on the affordability, because you can buy these things outright. You no longer have to buy them in kits and build them yourself and troubleshoot and everything. Straight out of the box. Is this going to get any higher than what they're reporting right now for the 5%?
I mean, new generation of gamers are coming up. I mean, they're going to probably want to try something different. I mean, we're all used, you, me, I mean, we grew up with having a controller in our hands and having everything on the TV. I mean, I feel this next generation is going to have something completely different.
I haven't seen anything in person myself, but those Apple glasses or the Apple lens, whatever it was, that they would show people walking down the side street smiling in a busy intersection while they're doing stuff on their glasses. I don't know how well that has gone, how that is going to continue to go for audience members and community members out there that I interact with. I don't know too many people that have them. I would like
it's called the Apple Vision Pro, by the way.
There you go. Thank you. Apple Vision Pro. I would love to put on a pair myself and to give it a spin for a half an hour or a couple hours and just see what happens. Have it on for a couple hours. Will that be unhealthy? Sure. But do people do that? Absolutely. Us as gamers, we've been sitting in front of television screens for decades now, and it hasn't rotted our brains out completely. We may not have all of the brain cells like how we did when we were 7, 8 years old. However, we're still alive and functioning, and we can still, depending on us, see the screen straight and not have floaters or different colors missing. So I think it's going to do well. We just need to have the technology keep on doing its thing, and it's I can foresee it being a big thing for companies and organizations, and everybody is just going to put on this virtual reality headset, and that's going to be their meetings. They're going to turn around and they're going to talk to their coworkers, and decisions are going to be made They're going to have a scale model or something on the table in front of them that they're going to be able to break down and to look at. I know for certain things and certain industries, I'll use the automotive and the medical field as both as examples. There are places set up with certain companies that I know of that will have the ability to break everything down to that very, very, very small detail on the smallest bit of measurement. And they can zoom in and they can do everything with the palm of their hands and just certain turns and adjustments and not needing to have controllers. And they can do everything with this headset on. I know we see it a lot in video games of having that holographic image. You see it a lot in Star Wars too, right? You know, you got the person that you're talking to, and the person is right there. I think we're eventually going to get there to have the holographic images. But for right now, I think this is that workaround until we get to that point. We're going to be able to do a lot and continue to do a lot in virtual reality. We have a lot to go from it. Live service oversaturation. Too many games on demand for that endless grind. Our live service games stiffening the creativity for the one-off titles. The context of this is players are spending 40% more or less, depending on how you want to look at it, on top of their live service subscription titles. We both bought Call of Duty when that came out, or we both had it, playing through season 1, getting through season 2. I think we're on season 4 or 5 now. But in the midst of that Call of Duty release, I'm a Halo player. So that has a subscription model to it. Used to play an avid Fortnite player. That had a subscription model to it. I was one of those people, like in Fortnite, when I would get to level 100, I had 2 other accounts that I had to get to level 100. So it was about the constant grind, the FOMO we talked about before we started the podcast, the fear of missing out on the certain items. It consumes so much time, and it has for me on a personal level. It's consumed so many hours out of my day and just time of needing and feeling that I need to get all of that. It's fucking overwhelming. It's exhausting. Retro preservation is fan driven, not publisher driven. Would you agree with that? Is that more on the indie game side where we're seeing these creative games come out and we're starting to get these big A-list stars to do voiceovers for the smaller game companies, and maybe they're not wanting to work with a larger game company? What's your take on that?
I don't know. I mean, with retro games, there's a bunch of them that I would love to see come back. One of those games being the Godfather games. I played the shit out of those when they first came out, and I want to replay them, but I can't because there's nowhere to play them again. They're not on Steam, they're not on Xbox, and it's like I would love for the retro game to come back.
They do have certain titles that will release every couple of years, it seems like, that have those old retro games all bundled up into one. They seem to have them in arcade style like games where you can purchase this one game title and you get 20 or whatever it might be, right? Is that your kind of style, or are you just looking for the 1 or 2 retro games that you're looking for?
The 1 or 2 like retro games that I'm looking for.
Okay, so I'm looking at this right now in Arcade Paradise on the Xbox. On sale, Game Pass, $16, regular price, $20. So you're not willing to buy this game for $20 just to play the 1 out of maybe 10 games that it might have, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for someone like you, an emulator, something that is going to be more updated or just a playable plug from the original days, is going to fit the bill just fine for you. And if they do finally do that remaster, it might be a very small community-based thing, but maybe big companies, they're just not looking at the retro games and how simple they were and what they were able to accomplish with them. I think the water starts to get a little bit more muddy with this technology as well, because you're able to do so much. And then that next game developer that is working just down the road from you, or just released a game last month that is so close to your game, and they are already topping you with development and what they've just released, and now you need to step your game up. It's a very dog eat dog world out there.
Mm-hmm.
We need that creativity, and I would not want it to solely come from AI. I believe adding some of that AI into a game is beneficial, yes, but for what the workers are doing and to be unionized and to stand up for those rights, it has got to be extremely difficult for everybody in that industry that could be losing their job. Because the games that we play now, that Call of Duty game, that Halo game, they could be completely different in the next 10 to 20 years if they no longer have a driving physical workforce. If it is done by code or done by a computer software and that just makes everything for you. It's quite an industry leading. It's also quite scary on what the industry could do with that lead. Are they going to continue to topple these big companies? Are they going to be around if they just over abuse AI? And then what's going to happen if they do start? Let's say company, for example, EA. They laid off, let's say they laid off 30% of their workforce because AI adoption. They don't need that many people because everything that this computer that can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never needs a fucking break. It can do everything that this X amount, 30% of the workforce can do. They release a couple titles, everything falls flat on their face. People know that it's AI adopted. They're boycotting it. So what does EA do? Do they hire in that 30% of the workforce that they let go? Are people then going to turn their backs even more against a company like EA with their given track record? Or is it going to be, I really don't give a shit. I want my next Need for Speed title. I want my next Sims title. Hire them back. It doesn't matter. I think we're going to lose that creativity. And for a lot of what people have been able to do before the adoption of internet in game development, I believe it is a dying art. Anybody can make their own game and be an indie developer. So I'm definitely not stopping them from their goal if that's their ambition. Hell, push towards it, contact me. I will support it 100% through and through. Just also kind of saying good luck against those big guys out there because god damn it, man, they got a lot of money, they got a lot of backing, and they're going to be the industry leaders because they have all of this at their fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary. It's an industry that I'm going to continue to stay in. I cannot see myself putting down the game controller or the mouse and keyboard anytime soon. I believe it's only going to get better. We're going to have bumps in the roads, but at least with bumps in the roads, we got good games that we can play until it is that we're looking for. If I'm looking for that next big Halo title, then I might have to wait another 3 or 4 years for it. Hopefully it's going to be good. If it's not, I can't foresee myself boycotting the franchise altogether because I still have the old games. I can still play something like Master Chief Collection until the servers go offline. And then all I really have to do is give it another 10 years maybe. And they're going to come out with the Master Chief Collection 2 or 1.5 or whatever it's going to be. But there's going to be another remaster that's going to have the old games in it because something like that, I believe, is a very smart idea. Having one game, a central hub for all your old games that people can still play and still enjoy, that want that retro feel, that really thinks that the new games, they just suck. But I like on how Halo 2 felt, being able to finally dual wield and play with my friends, or be able to play Halo CE with my friends when I didn't have that ability to, unless they were sitting in the room with me, and the electricity bill goes up about 80% for that weekend. Was there anything else that you wanted to discuss in the podcast?
No.
I was hoping that Leo was going to jump on. I did finish off that documentary for P. Diddy, so I was going to, I guess, enlighten him with a few things, but I'm sure he'll get a chance to go ahead and watch that whenever he wants to. I did sit down and watch The Liver King. They're on Netflix. Very impressed by the physical conditioning and especially on what it would take to get to that shape and to stay in that shape. Crazy on how the backstory of the person, the Liver King, what he was doing before by reselling supplements and making drugs. So not knowing that coming out of the documentary was very interesting. Overall, it was a good documentary. a lot of testicle popping action. So that was always interesting to find out what he was going to cram in his mouth next and to enjoy and make really weird noises and stuff. I don't follow him on Instagram or X, any kind of social media, so I'm sure it's much more in-depth and more graphic watching all of his reels. I'm not into that. But they did do a cool 6 months after the scandal and everything broke about, because that was the claim. He has his physique. He just has to eat liver and testicles and dick and whatever it is that comes out of the animal, and you will look like me. You will look like a god. Take these supplements that I sell, and yes. But came out and said, no, I'm not on anything. And then it got leaked that, yeah, he was on about $11,000 to $12,000 a month full of shit. So he was loading his body up for sure to the gills to look like that. But again, you don't just take the stuff and you look like that. You got to put in the hard work. So 6 months later, he was still putting in that hard work, doing a lot more vegetables. Showed him like doing the whole hippie thing, still with no shoes on, out in the garden eating berries and just being the liver king, right? Said that it changed his life, but at this point, can you fully believe somebody like that after they went through and lied about it and they want to call it a scandal? Can that kind of person be trusted in business, especially for somebody who's promoting supplements? Take these, you look like this. Well, now you're going to have to remarket or even rebrand everything just to change on how things are now since they have come out.
Mm-hmm.
Started to watch Titan, the Ocean Gate submersible disaster. I got maybe a third through that, and that was the documentary that I fell asleep on last night. I've always found deep sea exploration, Titanic, creatures, that kind of stuff interesting, so I will find myself watching the documentaries on it. A few more interesting picks have come out of this documentary that I did not know about the disaster, so when I fully watch it, I'll give my recap on it. But that is all I have been doing besides the games that we have been discussing. Been doing some stuff on the 3D printer as well, so that will eventually make its way out into the garage for a project. But still a beautiful day out. So I think I'm going to go outside and probably fire up that grill and enjoy the rest of this Sunday.
I bet you will.
Chris, I appreciate you coming on here in Discord for another podcast. It's always fun. It's always a pleasure.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Everybody out there, take care of yourself. Thank you for listening. Much appreciated. And until next time, I am Steve.
And I'm Chris.
And we will talk to you soon.
Peace.